Three, two, one, boom. And we're back with another episode of Scrap Gamers. This episode brought to you by Zenreal Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and accessories, zenrealclothingco.com. And be sure to check out Zenreal Radio playlists. They're free, zenrealclothingco.com. Also, if you're into spending the money, be sure to use offer code Socrates while on Zenreal Clothing Co. for 20% off select items. Also, if you're located in the Portland area of Scarborough, be sure to check out the Portland Bakery. They got some dope goodies that you can just pick up, eat, and there's also a pot shop that's right next to it. So there you go. 2021, what's up? Okay, so 2021, we are here in a new year, and I don't know, well, actually, let's start off with this one. The big purchase of the Tesla Model 3. Drove around on it. It's pretty alienish. Yeah, what do you guys say, Vish? How many days are you in now?
Maybe like 4 days. I don't know.
Yeah, 4 days. You loving it? Loving the Tesla?
Yeah, I mean it is exactly what I thought. So
I was actually pretty surprised with how we were just talking about like the sound of the battery, and you're saying that would go away, but when I first came out to like get in the car, it sounded so alien to me. With its like it sounded like a hover.
Yeah.
You know, if this was like an alien in a movie, that's what I would assume it sounded like.
Right.
But then getting in, it was like super weird with all of the screen. The buttons aren't really on the sides. Like usually with like other cars, if you want to like affect stuff, you know, like the seat heaters and like the what do you call it? The AC and stuff. It was all on the touchpad, which I find pretty that's pretty cool.
Yeah, everything is on the touchpad except for like the little buttons on the steering wheel, and like.
But it was so minimalist, you know.
It is a very minimalist design.
Yeah, and even with the charging, the wireless charging, the way that was set up for your phone. I mean.
Oh yeah.
It's like the way they have it there is just being like a little counter with a groove that'll fit your phone. That was very minimalist too, and I think that's where it excels in its design capabilities, like the Tesla as opposed to other cars. You know, like it's weird because like my parents, my sister got that Volvo, right, and it's like pretty futuristic. Yep. So when I first got in that, I was like, oh, this is like next level. And then I got in the Tesla, I was like, oh, this is really next level, because like it doesn't even resemble a car. Like it resembles a car like for the general aspect of it, but like what you would expect in a car, it was hard for me to find, you know? Yeah. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like it has.
It's not like a normal car.
It is
everything. Yeah. It's a huge learning curve.
Yeah.
Even to drive it, like it's not like a gear shift.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like, like changing the way you do your signaling. It's just like that. For like, okay, go into drive, you pull down once, or you go into reverse, you pull up. Right. And there's a button to press if you want to park.
So like even with that, so it's like if you look at the PS5 and you look at the Tesla, it's like there's this weird learning curve where it's new, but it's like it reminded me of like when like computers came out and you're quickly trying to learn how to like navigate it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it's hard to say we're not in the future now with like haptic touch and like all the stuff controlled on your phone for your car.
Yeah, I mean a lot of it is with your phone too. Like so, you get a normal like a credit card that looks like that's the key for the Tesla, and then if you don't want to use that, you can just keep that in your wallet and make your phone the key.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So stuff like that, like little things like that are just like a cut above the rest. Because like my sister's car has wireless charging too, but the difference being the way it's designed in the Tesla, like with the little groove, and like they have like a little pad, and you're like, if you just keep your phone there, it'll start charging. But it's unlike the Tesla where, I mean, the Tesla's unlike this one because it's like I guess it's sort of like the PS5. It's like hard to articulate the haptic touch. You just have to drive the Tesla to understand the subtle nuances that make it more different.
Yeah.
And more evolved compared to You know, because like PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, they're both video game consoles. So looking at it from the outside in, you're like, well, it's just console. What's the difference? But if you like hold the haptic touch controller, you're like, oh, dude, this thing is the future. And like if you're in the Tesla car, you're like, dude, this is the future. Yeah, I like that. What a great way to ring in 2021.
Like everything in that is like the phone, as you were saying earlier. I think like if you want to, you can even make a pin before you can even drive the car. So someone's
just like a phone. Yeah, exactly. Like or when you showed me like the glove box, and you're like, oh, I put a pin on the glove box. I was like, oh, that's subtle, but it's futuristic.
Right.
You know yeah. All right, let's pause and we'll grab her. All right, hold on. Okay, we're back. So yeah, it's really hard to articulate it, but honestly, after it's like a Samsung and an iPhone. You know, it's like the Samsung still has the feel of an old phone, but an iPhone just feels so techy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right? Yeah, or has that?
It's not like we're comparing like flip phones to an iPhone. They're still like modern, but it's like the excellence that's achieved through an iPhone is way superior compared to a Samsung. Although Samsung people will disagree, you know, with me.
Yeah.
But like, if you actually look at
I mean, they would the same thing. There would be it's like, oh, I want a car that makes noise or like,
exactly. Yeah, totally. Yeah, you're right. It's like see the thing with the iPhone as compared to the Samsung, the reason why I don't like it is like there's almost too much openness in a Samsung that it's like you don't have consistent futuristic feel. You know, it's like too open source, I find. But with a car that uses gas, even though it's like futuristic, although it might have futuristic components to it, it still has that like nagging bit of like a blemish. You know what I'm saying? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Like, they're all like other cars in the sense they're just all combustible engines. Like that's the same thing. It seems
archaic. You're like, why are you riding in this? You know? It's just like Samsung. Like, why are you using a Samsung? I don't get it. Yeah. You know, just upgrade to an iPhone. You know, like even like the subtle thing of like an AirDrop. That's what I always go back to, because AirDrop's the best invention for like Apple. Yeah. Because it's so quick, right? Right. So it's like it's such a subtle feature, but it's like excellence. You know, just like the Tesla. It's like there's a bunch of other things that other cars will also have, but it's the excellence of the Tesla. Like it's like a giant Tesla commercial.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things. Yeah, that's true. There's so many things in it that is way different than any car that I know of. Like with the Sentry mode.
Yes, there you go. Sentry mode. So simple. Such like a very simple thing. You're like, yeah, it just turns on cameras if people come near. Yeah. You know, and you'd think like, oh, that's pretty basic, but it's like, no, but it's like, how did you execute it? You know? Yeah. I'm very, very impressed by it. It really does almost seem like all other cars are. We've been saying this for a long time, so like it being your first car, it makes sense that you got a Tesla, because like why else would you not get excellence? You know. But the only thing this really got me curious about the Apple car now, though. If they actually do get an Apple car going, it's like, I didn't expect it to be. It's so subtle but so good. You know, I think the novice person won't appreciate the Tesla as much as the techie person. You know what I mean? Like, right. Yeah. I feel like a novice, like if somebody who's like, they're kind of into car or like kind of into tech, they're like, oh, these are some cool features. Yeah. But it's like, no, you don't get the integration of it. Even the way the map was, you know, you know, like all cars have maps, but the screen size for this Tesla was so big that like the map you could see, you know, pretty clearly. And then it shows you like, it really felt like an iPhone. I was like, like you can scroll on the iPhone map and you're like, oh, there's these stores beside, like you can do that in this one. And although like Tara's car has Apple CarPlay, but the map is nowhere as good as that one. So like as the Tesla one, you know.
Well, yeah, that's limited to the screen size that they have, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
To what the Toyota did. Yeah, one thing I didn't show you there, I forgot, was there's games on there.
Oh yeah, I heard about this. Yeah, you could play while you're waiting, right?
While you're charging, you can play some games. Some games require controllers, so it's
oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Oh, so you can even bring your own controller.
Yeah. I think an Xbox controller works with.
See, like subtle but amazing, you know. And then there's all those other ones, like if you get the more like the crazier features, like the insane mode that Elon Musk talked about, and also like you can make your car dance. Remember you saying that?
Yeah, I don't remember, but yeah, there's so many different things. But like, I don't know if that's necessarily in the Model 3. Could be in the other models. So
No, but totally. But it's like
but they can do these sort of things.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah,
and it's like, what is this subtle futuristic thing? You know?
Right, yeah.
Even the way it's laid out inside, it feels very like I've recently got really into like UFO stuff, and like the stuff that they describe in there, it's like this is very UFO-y.
Yeah.
In the
with the screen or the roof being
like glass,
a glass roof,
and then like your front panels like all wood.
Yeah.
And it's the minimalism that got me. It's like it's like everything is software is built in with the software.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need too many buttons.
Yeah.
Like even if you look at the iPhone, right? It's got one button.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like one. No, that's the old one. The old one's got one button in the center, but the notch or whatever. No, not the notch. The you know, like
the Touch ID thing you're talking about?
Yeah, like the iPhone 10 or something. Is it 10 who has the button?
No, you're talking like the older phones, whatever.
Yeah, the older phones with like the circle button. It's been a while, so but like with this one, it's like
iPhone 8 was probably the last one that had it.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, so then if you look at the sides of like my iPhone 11, it's like got 3 buttons and like toggle for silent mode. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like minimalism. You know, because everything's carried. Yeah, right. Yeah. Everything's carried out in the software.
Yeah, it's both. Yeah, it's minimalism in the look and minimalism within the software too.
Yeah, right, totally. Okay, yeah, true. But the complexity of making it minimalist.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the reason why it's so minimalist and simple is because there's so much complexity to make it that way. Mm-hmm. I think like Steve Jobs really pioneered that, you know, with like the Mac and stuff.
Yeah.
I think like he really pioneered the idea of like excellence and minimalism, you know.
Yeah.
And simplicity.
Right. Of course, yeah.
You know. And then like Elon Musk just took it a step further with like making cars out of it. Yeah, pretty sick. Any final thoughts on your Tesla? Your amazing
I'm still trying to figure out what to name it.
You can name your car. So that's pretty cool. Hey, the Cylon Express.
I don't know. I'll have to figure this out.
Oh, what's the name of the Battlestar Galactica ship? It's called Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, just
call it the Battlestar or something. You know, you love that show. So.
Maybe with the aliens, with its alien features.
Right. Right. And that's your theme, right? You got like Cylon 100 is your name and stuff. Yeah. Cool. See, even that a small feature naming your car, like how I named my iPhone. Like it's so simple, but it's like it's really cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weird, eh? Like these little subtleties. If you talk to a UX designer. Like Willie's a UX designer, and he's like, it's so hard to figure out what, like it's so simple when you look at it. If you're using an app, and you can intuitively navigate it, then the UX designer did a good job. But if you have to think too hard, then the UX designer did a bad job. You know, UX being user interface, user experience, and the UX designer for the Tesla's like superb.
Yeah, and they keep like changing it. The way it looked now, what you're seeing is from the latest update too. So they keep doing the software updates.
Yeah, totally.
Like an iPhone.
Like you were saying, like just recently, it switched over, and then you were getting used to the new.
Yeah, I have to get reused to it, which is kind of always. I kind of like that because like you're learning again. It feels like something new.
True. Yeah.
So.
And like you never know what cool new advancements they're gonna add in the future. That's. Yeah, I really like it. It's cool. So okay, the real thing, I guess, like being New Year's, this like it hit me like you were away for New Year's, but like on New Year's, I didn't even stay up for New Year's Eve actually. But New Year's Day, I was thinking about. I was like, wow, 2020 was like, because we also watched Death to 2020. Have you seen the doc?
No, I did not see that.
Oh, it's a comedy. It's pretty good, but I mean like. It can get a bit dry. It's more of like a recap on the year, and they're just making fun of the year.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, there's nothing like crazy in it, but it just reminded me like of all these things that I had forgotten about, and I was like, wow, we really spent the entire year inside. This will be right, like
That's
like 2020. Aside from like you, but like you still had your own restrictions, right? We couldn't go out as we normally would have in 2020. Like, but then what tripped me out was March. I remember January when I got back, they were talking about this, and then we went on that full lockdown in March.
Yeah.
And then ever since then, like the lockdown has not let up. But what if they told you from the beginning it was going to be a year? But some people did say that, you know, like the really advanced scientists, they were like, oh, it's going to be extended. It's going to be extended. You know, it's going to take a whole year, but we didn't believe it, you know? Yeah. I almost feel like it's like a throwaway year. Like I don't even remember anything that happened. Every day like literally felt the same because there was nothing that we did that was, I mean, like aside from purchases, but like what, like Tara was saying, usually you get invited to something like a month out, like, oh, in the summer it's my ex, you know, like,
Yeah.
and then like you're looking forward to that summer activity, like, oh, it's somebody's wedding that we're gonna go to, you know, but like there was none of that this year, so it was really weird. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on like 2020?
Well, yeah, it is a different year than all other years, right? So.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Yeah. Well, let's see how 2021 goes, though.
True. Yeah, true. We all like think about 2020 as being the end of it all, but it's like totally not. This is gonna continue.
It'll continue maybe for another few months till we get the vaccines out there.
Yeah,
So
true.
it could be half a year more of this. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, I saw that meme where it's like 2020 and then 2021, and 2020 like the zeros were masks, and then 2021
I
is
saw
like a
that.
needle.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, that's so true. Like this is how it's gonna end. Like who would have thought that at the beginning of this whole lockdown thing you would have been like, oh, in 2021 it's gonna end with a needle. You know, like
No, yeah,
nobody would have thought that.
Yeah.
We thought like somebody would have figured it out, it would have just went away, something like that, like, you know. But I've actually started to like unfollow people who are like anti-maskers, anti-2020, anti-COVID,
Right.
you know, because it's just like it just shows me how dumb you are, you know. What's weird though is they tend to be a lot of BJJ people, and BJJ people, like, because of Eddie Bravo and like that whole community, everyone's very like
Or
trusting,
super skeptical.
of everything, and it's like, but like you might be good at jiu-jitsu, but your brain's not all there, so I was like unfollow, because this is just weird now, like
Yeah.
like when like this person, like they just keep going back to like the control of it all. It's like, what control are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, oh, I want to go outside, like they're like so in Austin, Texas, it was like there's no real like quarantine law there, right?
Yeah.
So they had like a giant fight in that area, and it was like all the stands were filled, et cetera, like during the boxing match, and it was just like, oh, this is so, it's cool to see something that we had been missing, but at the same time I'm like, wow, if somebody has COVID here, you're all kind of just screwed.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you don't believe in the mask, if you believe this control thing, then why don't you go get COVID then? Why don't you just try it and see if like if it's that bad? Like all the celebrities like that, like Joe Rogan talks about COVID not being that bad because Jamie got it, and like, but you forget like they have access to vaccines we don't, you know, or like protocols that
Well, access to medicine. and stuff for
yeah,
them,
right?
yeah.
What's his name? Jamie, when he got it, he was on like a heavy vitamin drip, like IV.
Yeah.
You know, like what regular person is gonna have that?
Yeah, and especially in America when there's a
Right?
big problem with healthcare, when people not having insurance.
Yeah, and they had so many deaths, and it's like if you don't put all that together, like what are you talking about? You know, like people are dying. There is not enough access to everyone. How can you believe this is still fake?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's the internet era now.
Right? Like, and then like power vacuums of like misinformation,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And then like it's the too woke tribe, you know?
Yeah.
I do that a lot. Like I write like stay woke, but it's like I'm actually making fun of it. Like that term isn't, it's pretty silly because people who are like stay woke are usually not woke. Like, you know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
like they're so advancedly woke that they're not woke.
Yeah, most people do not understand how the world like really works. Like these vaccines and stuff. It's a lot of things that it has to go through. It's not like that easy to just get something passed.
Yeah, totally. But then they're like, oh, it's like a global conspiracy. It's like
Ah.
I don't know. Like I don't see how that would work.
Yeah.
You know, like
It's not like what global conspiracy, like we change governments all the time.
yeah, totally. Yeah.
Like that's it's not like so there's someone like looking over it all, like one person. It doesn't work like that. Like
Yeah,
why
totally.
did
Yeah.
like Trump won? It's like, I think that should break any kind of thinking. that-
Yeah, the fact that he won, it's like, but then it's like, oh, he didn't win again though. But like,
Yeah,
what?
well, no, that's how it works. They didn't vote for it. That's
Yeah, very odd. Very odd.
yeah. I don't know. Nothing else to say about that.
Yeah, hopefully 2021, like it. I feel like we're too far gone. There's no way we're going back to the old world.
Yeah.
Like the old world's gone. Like a lot of stuff shut down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're just gonna adapt to a new world that we're living in.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, this is a great segue.
In many of those cases, yeah, I think there will be a lot of like adapting that way.
Yeah.
And some things will take time to recover. I think it will. Some of things will come back.
Yeah, some things, but not everything. It's
Not
like
everything.
that world is, and then people are going to be more afraid to invest in businesses now because they're like, oh, the government can just shut it down. So like,
Mm-hmm.
how many small businesses will there be coming out of this?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the conspiracy. Yeah, but this is a good segue into this book that I just read. It's like The Future We Chose. It's about climate change. And basically, the beginning part, like one of the coolest chapters in the book was like, it had like a doomsday scenario and like optimistic scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2050 is when the Paris Agreement or Paris
Okay.
Paris
Paris
Agreement?
Accord.
The
Or
Par-
something.
yeah. So it's supposed to have like they want their emissions to be zero by 2050.
Mm-hmm.
So it shows you like what a world would be like if that happens and what a world would be like if it doesn't happen. It's just 2 chapters. But the thing that got me was in the doomsday chapter, they were saying like every morning you'll like look at your phone, not to check the weather, but to check the air quality. And then like if it's good quality, then you're fine. But if it's bad quality, you have to put on your special like ventilator mask to go outside. And I was like, that actually could happen. I could see that, you know, especially with like California burning and like in China they have that already. So
yeah,
it's
that's
like,
what I was gonna say. Yeah.
so it's like, what do you mean this is going to be in the future? It's like it's already happening in different parts of the world.
I mean, China's spending a lot more money in doing green right now because
they probably knew. They're like, oh damn, this is not good.
well, it is really bad, and they know that. They've gone through it.
yeah. What is it, like smog warnings or something?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. There's like warnings like that, and you can't really breathe. It's you got to wear a mask or
Yeah.
something.
So like, I don't know. I could, but the only thing I didn't agree with in the book is like it was overly optimistic. It's like in the positive future, like we had fully gotten rid of it. There's peace on Earth. Like corporations didn't fight one another. I'm like, okay, well this is too far. Like,
yeah, that's a bit too far.
like,
I don't think that's gonna happen.
yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. I guess like I was like when I read it, I was like, you got to kind of take both worlds in this one. You can't just like what they're trying to like suggest is that if we all do our part, this is the world we can live in. But it's like I don't see that at all. Like people's like capitalism is a big part of our like lives. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, even with the Paris Accord, like I think it was Trump that
Left it, right?
they left it, right?
Yeah.
But there's nothing in there that it's not like that's the deal. Like, okay, we will try to get to that. That's what that means, really. Like, it's not a thing that's you're gonna get penalties if you don't reach it.
Right. And I guess that's why he's like, whatever, we don't have to like
Yeah.
stick to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the hard part too. It's like you're really just hoping on. Okay. So one of the ways they're controlling the populace in Canada is with fines, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the book, they're hoping for people's altruism to take over, but it's like you can't rely on that. You need like penalties.
Yeah.
So when you said like, oh, there's no like ramifications, it's just like what we're agreeing to. But it's like if you have no penalties surrounding it, people aren't inclined to move in that direction.
Yeah.
Like we often look for the easiest path.
But you just can't, like these Paris Accord or whatnot. It's more like no, there's no governing body for like to make sure a country does their thing. It has to be within the country itself, right?
Yeah, because there's no world superpower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like there's no like world government.
Oh, yeah. Like, well, there's like, all right, the world superpower would be America because they have the
Yeah,
biggest
yeah.
weapons. But I mean, like, there's no one overseeing
All of us.
them. Yeah. True. There's no like. I mean, I guess you could say like the UN.
It's
but
still
that's not
again.
really,
No. It's just like that's just the area where everyone gets together and talk other types of deals. But there's no like penalties.
Backlash.
There's
Yeah,
no
totally.
penalties.
Right? Like what was it in the 2001?
Yeah.
Bush, he like went in.
Yeah, like when Bush went into Iraq when UN said they don't have anything. Well, we don't have to listen to you. We're going in.
Exactly,
yeah. So
no,
like what?
No penalties.
What power do they have? In
Yeah.
that sense?
Right. Yeah, but then like you can misconstrue this and go back to the whole like the whole conspiracy thing again. You'd be like, well, that's control, that's what they're doing. Like, see, there is no world power, like, except for the elite, like the one with like the most money and the most, like how USA was like, we're just gonna go in, doesn't matter about UN. But like what I find is the people who are very anti-mask also have a very antitrust of government already, like because their government's very shady,
Right, but they love Trump though.
which is weird. So it's like I don't understand because he speaks like them. So like if you speak like us, maybe like you're one of us kind of thing. Oh, actually this is a genius thing, speaking of that, because I heard that on CP24 or something, the finance minister, when he went away, and then Ford was like, yeah, he knew the whole time, but he's like, I shouldn't have let him go. And it's like, and then what the analysts were saying was like, because Ford has that ability to like talk like colloquially, people trust him, rather than looking more at the evidence of being like, wait, you knew the whole time. Why did you let him go then? Like, you're shady, but it's that whole like, I'm like you, so I can be trusted kind of thing.
But I think apology works a lot of the times, though. By apologizing.
But it was December 12th when he left, so it's like,
no, I know,
he
but
knew the
even
whole time, bro.
then, apologizing just it seems to work in here in Canada. Like actually
I see.
apologizing here, like actually, okay, we'll forgive you.
That's weird though. It's
But
like,
it's just the Canadian people are like that. I don't know. It's just it's
yeah,
ingrained in here. It's like, all right, we'll give you a second chance. All right.
yeah, it's true. Yeah, okay, I could see that. I wonder how polite we really are, because we spend it like the full, like our whole lives are in Canada, right?
Yeah.
So like I wonder how many of those like stereotypes of Canadians being polite are actually true, and like not true. Like even when we were coming inside just now, and that lady was like, "Oh, Happy New Year" to us. Like, I'm sure that happens in like America too.
No. No, there are good.
But we have like this weird stereotype surrounding like Canadians being nice.
Yeah, I don't know if we created that stereotype. It could be other people, but like.
that's true. But if you go to like places like Thailand, they're really nice. So
Yeah. No, it's not like people aren't nice everywhere. It's just
yeah.
I don't know. I've seen that how like for politician wise, it seems to work. That's why they do it here.
Interesting. Yeah. But
Like you don't see it in with. I've never seen Trump apologize.
True. You're right.
But him not apologizing works over there.
Over there, yeah.
Yeah, because he's like, oh,
he stands on his ground.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah, that's true. I guess that's the bedrock of the social psychology in both countries.
Like all the issues that Trudeau went through, he apologized.
True.
It works.
Yeah, true. That's interesting. I wonder if it I'm sure it goes back to their history of like being, they did come from like rebels, right? Like they left Britain.
Yeah,
the founding fathers. The, like,
right.
So that's in them.
Yeah.
So maybe when they look at Trump, they're like, oh, this is a founding father. Like he's going against the norm. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, exactly.
But it's like you can just easily play into that as well, and that's why you have like ultra conspiracy theorists in like America. Like where do all the conspiracy theory people come from? Mostly in America.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. I mean, there are bits and pieces everywhere, but like
No, there are, but like, who's the one really like like, I'm not scrolling through my feed and seeing like nonstop conspiracy theorists from Canadians or whatever, right? It's all like these like American BJJ people I follow. But they do have like a really bad rap, you know, like they have a really bad situation because like, you know, they're getting like, is their $2,000 stimulus check actually going through? Maybe not, you know.
Yeah. So, I don't think it did, but
oh really? Oh, so there you go.
Well, even with the 2000 thing, even like the Mitch McConnell, who's like the leader in the Senate, didn't even bring it to a vote. So like, we're not gonna do it here. Like, we're not gonna.
Really?
Yeah, this is not gonna pass. So.
Damn.
Bernie's like, well, if it's not gonna pass, at least let us vote on it and say no. If you can say no.
Wow.
So I don't think he's even bringing it to a vote. So.
See, like, if you're in that kind of situation, I could see how that would breed conspiracy. Like, if like you couldn't trust your government. But what's weird is like, if you look at the Cold War, that's what they're saying about Russia.
Right.
And they hate Russia. But it's like, but you're basically the same thing, just in the West.
Yeah, there's.
Right, you know what I mean? Like it's just more open, I guess, in Russia than. You know, like, because they're communists, right?
Yeah.
And like they have like a lot of like
I don't know if they are communists directly, but.
Well, they under that guise of communism, right? Like Putin and stuff, like the stuff he would do, like people are like, oh, it's so bad, can't believe you did that. But it's like, yeah, but you're not looking at America.
Yeah, but it just, there are differences. There are differences. The thing with America is it really does. It really does, like, voting really does kind of like change the game.
Totally. But what I mean is, like, the only difference between them is their democratic system, but they're both playing their people. I mean, I guess technically we're all playing our people. Like they showed that with the Ford thing, how he knew the whole time. So it was like, oh, you're just playing us, you know? Yeah. Like different rules for different classes of people. But we never like, I guess Canadians take it on the chin. And like Americans are very like vocal about it.
Yeah. I think that's the thing about Americans, that the stereotype is they speak their mind.
True. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Where was that from? Remember, there's like I was watching this like international thing and like this video, this like interview, and then he was saying like, oh, the person I met with, like, he was American, and I knew right away he would just like be loud and say what was on his mind. Yeah. I think it was a book I was reading about like international business. That's just who they are. So like, yeah.
I think there are true things to these stereotypes, like certain things, like how people act. And
true. Yeah, no, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that person's American, or that person's.
Actually, that's because that goes into like when people say like, oh, you're more than your identity. You know, like we're like, oh, all Americans are like the stereotypes, right? In general, like people don't like them because they believe that people are made up of multiple facets.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like, yes, because you're thinking about it from your own lens. But if you look at it just like as a numbers game, like,
right,
completely objectively, no, majority of people do this.
Yeah.
You know, sure, like one or two here, and like the people that don't want to be perceived that way, but like aggregately.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But like, speaking of that mistrust, it's interesting. Like I read the book Chaos, the Charles Manson thing, and like if you look at even their system, like the whole CIA versus like FBI, like even the tactics that they use in that are already very like shady and sketchy, but they're looking at like controlling the masses, right? Like, so basically what is believed in this book is that Charles Manson was a CIA operative, and like they had like like when they were trying to do their brainwashing tests, which is like true, the MK Ultra, like that's the code name for that whole, when they use like LSD to try and like program people's minds and stuff. And then have you ever heard of like Manchurian Candidates?
Yeah.
So that's what it is. So like that was a CIA op to like figure out how to like make these people unwitting assassins.
Right.
You know, but it's like, if you're doing that, what are you not, like, and that got out, what are you doing that's not getting out? You know what I mean? Like, how can you trust how can you trust like a system that's very nature is about deceit? You know, like in the CIA. I mean, like it's all about secrets and like with the looming tower thing you were talking about. Yeah, like the FBI needed the information, but the CIA didn't want to pass it over. So like, yeah, you know, even your system is like shady. It's weird. Like how, like I really wonder what it's like to live in that kind of system. Like maybe like me unfollowing these people, it's like, yeah, but that could have been you if you had lived in this thing, you know? I don't know. I think COVID's really like really shining a light on the errors of our operating system.
Sure, yeah, maybe. But I still think we always tend to only think about America and what they do.
Yeah, true.
And then, like, I don't really think about it too. And it was kind of like, oh yeah, right, I forgot about other countries. So one person, when he was saying, was like when, like America, the whole debacle with Vietnam. But what happened when America left? Who came in?
Oh yeah, you were saying that
it was China.
Yeah.
So it's like we forget about, wait, there's other countries also wanting to, you know, better themselves, or like it's a competition here where it's like, is it better if it was America, or better if it was China, or better if it was Russia? Like,
yeah, I guess because like in like global perception, America is the gold standard. You know, we all want freedom, we all want like democracy.
Yeah.
But is that the best approach?
But if you ain't doing it, other guys doing it too.
No, exactly. So
that's the thing.
So like because we're perceiving it in this light, we like we're essentially being programmed that this is the best way to do things, right? But it's like, but that's only because that's what you've been programmed to think.
Right. But again, it's like it's always been like this.
Yeah, I know.
If they didn't if they didn't get the oil in Afghanistan and Iraq, it's going to be Russia or China.
Right.
Then,
exactly.
Then they'll get more power.
Yeah.
As this, you know what I mean? Like,
so it's like choosing the lesser of two evils.
I think we've already chosen, like, that we're North American, we're already choosing North America.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I guess, yeah, it goes.
I don't think I would give the power to Russia. I don't think I would give it to China.
Well, because we don't live there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So, but yeah, actually, that's so funny. Even looking at it like that, it's like it goes back to Nietzsche's whole like beyond good and evil thing. You know, there is no good and evil. Like,
right.
It's because it's just happening. Like, it's just being positioned as good at this time.
Right.
But it's because like America won the war. But what happens if like Russia had won the war, or like Hitler had won the war? We'd be like, oh, he's like a savior.
Right.
I think that's a very important point, actually. Yeah, totally. Because like,
we tend to always forget that. We just look at ourselves and we don't think about there's other countries involved in here.
Yeah, true. Yeah, very true.
Right. So.
Yeah, and you really just like pick a side by living in that side.
Yeah.
Because like even if you don't agree with it, you were born into it.
Yeah.
You can't just like switch over you can't just become like a Canadian citizen overnight, or a Russian citizen overnight. You know, you need to legally be like accepted into that system.
Right.
Yeah. See, these are the higher powers at play going on, you know? And it's
so like yeah, even Canadians, like Canada as is positioned like with war and stuff, they're not in it for the war, but they're there to help with recovery.
Canadians.
Yeah, the Canadian military and stuff like that.
Right.
Right. So it's like, well, America went into Iraq and Afghanistan. We chose not to go in, but we're there to.
But we're still there.
We're there to. Okay, well, we'll stand in the back, like behind the stuff. We'll help out.
Yeah.
And like keeping everything cool and stuff, or like helping the people.
Yeah.
Versus, but we need that. But we need America. But we need America to do these things too, I think.
Yeah, it's true.
Because then we also are benefiting from what they're doing.
Yeah, totally.
With the image of America, like Canada being non-violent or whatever.
It's sort of like if you were in the Yakuza, and then they're going to like take over these businesses with force, and you're the accountant. It's like Canada would be the accountant. We're like, we wouldn't have a good pay if it wasn't for you. So we
Right.
still need you to do this thing, but
Yeah.
like we can't like legally be, or like, we're the money launderer,
Mm-hmm,
you know, of, because like we need you to do that bad thing
Mm-hmm.
so we can benefit,
Yeah.
but we're not gonna be in the spotlight of doing the bad thing. Yeah, it's such a game, you know. It's like such a. Well, but then this actually, when I finished reading the Chaos book and then speaking to you now about this, it's like, can you know too much? You know, it's almost like they said like, I can't remember. It's like some interview, or it might have been the book. Can't remember totally, but they're saying, is it good to tell everyone everything? And then this person was like, no, like it's better if we have secrets,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you know.
I think it just depends on the person, but I think for generality, most people
Don't want to know.
don't want to know.
Like if you knew that this was going on, if you had read the Chaos book, you'd be like, wait, this is pretty weird. Like, why
Yeah.
are they doing this?
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Too much information. It's like the Garden of Eden thing, you know,
Mhm.
like you get kicked out by the apple of knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But it's so funny because it's like, this is the highest layer that we know of, but like imagine gaining more information and then you're like, oh, it's totally operating on a different level than what we know.
Yeah.
You know, but like it makes you think like everyone is basically at a specific level of understanding,
Mm-hmm.
and you can either like stay at that level or you can continue to move forward through the levels to find out more information,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, is it even worth it at the cost of your own like peaceful sanity? But I guess that's why the sages, they like lived in the mountains, right?
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, this is just too messy. They knew, you know. Yeah. So
Mhm.
final thing, you were talking about. Oh, actually, well, we'll just. I was gonna start talking about movies, but I'm just gonna put this out there. If you haven't seen Soul yet, definitely check out Soul. It has officially made it as #1 on my top 5 list. It beat out Tenet. Even though I haven't watched Soul like over and over, just the message in that is like so stellar. Okay, so you were saying the Hillbilly.
Elegy.
Yeah, what's that about?
Well, it's about like poor. The family is like a poor white family,
Okay.
and from like middle America,
Okay.
and it's like it's based on a book this guy wrote, and he ended up he's from that family who ended up going to Yale and doing
Oh, that's cool.
studying law.
Okay.
And then it's just like the struggles of middle America in some way, like mainly about his family, but it's like we forget about like there are poor white people that are struggling.
Right.
And I think these are like would be like the type of people that would have voted for Trump, and how they have
Interesting.
seen, because they kind of show you like 3 generations there of the family that's been in middle America.
Okay.
It's mainly Ohio, right? So that when his grandma was there, like how it was, the mines were working, everybody had a job, and everything was like, it looked clean, like, you know what I mean? Like when, and then it goes into like his mom's time, kind of, it's like it's now all broken down, like everything's boarded up.
Oh, really?
The mills doesn't exist, like it's abandoned. It's like and it's like them struggling to get a job, and like him even trying to like getting into Yale. It's like, okay, how do you? He's like working 3 jobs, as he says, and it's like paying for these things is like he had like multiple credit cards to like, okay, put 500 on this or like 1,000.
Oh, wow.
So it's like really like the struggle that they have to go through too. But like there's other issues within his own family that
Okay.
that focuses on like family as well, like his mom. This is played by Amy Adams is the mom,
Oh, cool. All right.
and who's like has a drug addiction and stuff,
Oh, interesting.
right? So, and it's kind of like I thought it was a really good movie in the sense like kind of telling that person's story,
Mm-hmm.
and where there is a good message at the end. It's about family, but it's like the struggles, like you have to sometimes, it's not good to be stuck too. and that's kind of what happened to the mom, where she got stuck in that, so she couldn't really um, uh, like grow out of it or change or something.
Right.
When her kids were able to kind of leave, or at least he did,
Interesting.
but still
Okay.
stay family in a sense, like I can do these things and then come back and help, right? And the thing, I don't know, I felt it was a really good movie. Like, I looked up the reviews, which I found was interesting, was like the critics gave it 26% in Rotten Tomatoes, like fully like, oh, it's a bad movie. And then I see the audience score, it's like 86.
Interesting.
It's like very different from,
It like spoke to the people.
yeah,
Like they got it.
yeah. I think that's the middle America. These are the people that it got to. Like, this makes sense to them.
Yeah, it's like, all right, going back to the whole like Russia and USA thing, right? We look at those countries and we're like, oh, look how bad it is there. But when you were explaining that to me, I was like, oh, what about those ghost towns in America?
Yeah.
You know, like there are, when you said like, oh, in Ohio it's all boarded up now, I'm like, oh, this is probably just like, COVID's probably just gonna make things worse.
Yeah.
You know, because like,
If more, again, it's like more working from home, more automation. It really does affect, and it's
it
already
showed it
has.
then? It showed it in the movie automation.
No.
Oh.
It didn't show that, but because it was not in that time,
Right. Okay.
the timeline of when it was done. But it was a true story too.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, like I feel like it's gonna be even more impactful against these types of people.
True. Yeah.
So, because they can't have their own store right now. Or
Right. Yeah.
You know.
See, gold standard again. It's like America's positioning themselves in the media as the gold standard, but it's like, yeah, but what about all these other problems that you have going on? You know?
Yeah.
I remember when I was driving to like Rochester, New York, and I was like, well, there's all these like boarded up places. This wasn't even during COVID. This was like not even close to COVID, but like they were hit by the 2012 crisis, I guess. And they just never came back. Like there were so many stores that were like boarded up, and I was like, oh, this is weird. You know?
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, we forget about that part. That's why it's like so aggravating that these like BJJ people are like anti-masking or like saying it's a conspiracy. It's like, what do you mean? Like, look at around you, man. Like,
Yeah.
This is not a conspiracy. This is just like poor management. Oh, actually, it's gonna go back to this meme that I saw. It's like, America's a third world country with a Gucci belt. You know, it's like it has so many problems, but like it looks good. So we're just, like the Gucci belt's so expensive.
Yeah.
But like the issue still remains. Like, you don't have a perfect country.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I just don't think anyone necessarily has a perfect country, but
like,
always,
but you're positioning yourself as the gold standard.
right.
So it's
Yeah.
that's.
They were. That's why the idea. That's what
actually. You're right.
they
They were
right
the
when
gold
that's what
standard.
the whole. I think the message of "Make America Great Again" was talking about that.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Because it's not like Trump did use that term and it became more like people viewed it very racist or whatever. Like, what do you mean by like "Make America Great Again"? Like, how far back are you talking?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, totally.
But even Bill Clinton used that phrase
Yeah, true. Okay.
in his campaign. So it's like it's just a phrase like during the 70s. Or I don't know exactly when that era was, 50s to 60s, like when they were booming. People who were working making cars can afford 2 cars.
Yeah. They were the gold standard.
yeah.
Everyone wanted to go there because, like, oh, all the money is there and all that stuff, you know. But that was a different time. I feel like if you hold on to, but then, all right, I was gonna say, like, if you hold on to it, you're kind of screwed because like you're looking at something that's not real anymore. You have to learn to adapt, but that isn't possible. You can't actually adapt because, like, you know, there'd be a power struggle, power vacuum if it didn't keep holding the top spot.
Yeah.
You know, because like if America was like, okay, yeah, we're not the best anymore, another country's gonna take over, like you were saying. So it's like, pick your poison.
Yeah.
So you almost have to like be happy that it's so tribal mentality. You know, that's why when the aliens come, they'll fix everything because you'll have like one enemy.
So they're already here, right?
That's true. Yeah, some theorists are already here. Yeah,
Just letting it be.
but so okay. So I wanted to bring up a movie that we're watching. Me and Tara were like watching old movies that were really popular back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay, so we watched Clueless. Do you remember that?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so Okay, so you're saying a little bit. Like, I remember a little bit of it.
Yeah.
And I remember it being really freaking popular. But, like, when you watch it, the things that we did back then were so weird
Yeah.
that you don't even realize they were weird because that's just what we were going through. Okay, so that movie's actually about incest.
Really?
See, there you go.
Oh.
So if you watch it again with like, so I wonder like if we were adults back in that time when that movie's coming out, we'd be like, don't watch that to our kids, you know, like that's a bad movie. But like I remember you, like it was popular, it would always be played on TV, like it became a TV show. But like she falls in love with her stepbrother. That's and like
stepbrother. Okay.
it's not like full incest, but like so basically the stepbrother
Okay.
he comes over and then like she falls in love with him and then they end the movie right there. Once they fall in love, they just go to the ending scene. They don't like because it's like you'd be thinking, what about the other stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And then Tara said something so funny, and I was like, that's so true. Like they were so easy. They could have easily been like, oh no, he's just the top, because he like the stepbrother worked really closely with the father, so it could have been like he's the top intern. Why did they have to make it the stepbrother? so in the writing room, somebody came in and was like, yo, stepbrother. And they were like, that's a good idea. You know what I mean? Like they had to approve that.
Yeah.
Like it could have easily had been.
I wonder what was going on at the time.
That's what I'm wondering. That's what I'm wondering.
To allow this.
Right? Like where was our heads at that time?
I think that's the thing that we have to look at too. It's like when these movies came out, what was happening at that time to cause that to be in a movie and to be okay.
Yeah, totally.
And to view it like it's okay. Like I don't know.
And then you're gonna push this out in the public, and then it's gonna change. Like so, like, everyone's like, yeah, I could just.
So
totally
why did
get
it become
with my stepbrother?
Exactly?
You know, and you're like, what? This is the cultural norm now. You know, or maybe they're trying to break down the boundary of like stereotypes.
I don't know.
I don't know what the idea here is, but like,
I'll look into that. It's kind of interesting.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole premise of the movie. Like,
where was the movie?
L.A. Beverly Hills.
No. I mean, like, where did you watch it?
It was on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you gonna go watch it?
Yeah, I'll probably check it out.
It's like a good movie, but it's just like, and Paul Rudd is the main guy. Paul Rudd, bro. Like it was like one of his first movies. He was like the leading hunk.
Yeah, these guys, but when they look back though, they really probably feel embarrassed like that.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think they do.
But it's so funny because I listened to all these podcasts before, like with these actors, and they're like, "Oh, the movie that was made back then would never be made now," right? And I'm one of those people that like, if it was good for me then, why is it not good now? You know, before. And then I read this thing about like it's the duty of every generation to like. Remember that line, like to be better for the next generation. So like going back and watching this movie, I'm like, one, this wouldn't fly now, and two, yeah, we should evolve past this stuff. Like, it's so weird.
Yeah.
Basically, the movie's about nothing. It was during that time period of like movies were about nothing. Remember Van Wilder?
Yeah.
It's about nothing.
Yeah.
It's just like somebody's life. But I had this theory, and I don't know if it's true or not, but like when movies were made, they had commercials in them, right? You'd make a movie and then you're like, okay, this is going to go to TV, so it's going to be broken up into 15-minute chunks because every 15 minutes you're going to have a commercial. It's not like Netflix now. So like, I wonder if they were like, it doesn't matter what you write, we just have to make something like so ridiculous to fill every 15-minute gap.
There's probably things like that.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, and then if you watch it in its entirety without any gaps, you're like, this movie's weird. But if you watch it like in 15-minute chunks, you're like, okay, this is entertaining.
Yeah,
it's keeping my, because every 15 minutes there was something weird that happened in the movie.
Oh,
and you're like, that's what triggered it. And I was like, I wonder if it's because of commercials.
I think it is. I when they do write these things, I think at those times it was probably.
Right? Like she'd go to the mall.
With
and
the
then
TV deals
happened,
that they have.
Right?
Yeah.
And then like the next scene, it's like a party, and then something ridiculous happens at a party, and then the next scene is like.
I think it's a mixed bag. It's also to keep the it's that, but I think it's to keep the audience in tune. Like I think they have like some kind of rubric. It's like every so often.
We need a slapstick moment.
There must be like it must come from some sort of study that they did too. Like why?
True.
Why this kind of works?
Because like if you watch like a Christopher Nolan's Batman now on TV. and then there's commercials. You're like, why is there commercials? It's so
Yeah.
you're breaking up this like the
flow of the story.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But then I feel like movies back then, it didn't really matter if there's commercials because it was so ridiculous that like, you know, just you were just focusing on the 15-minute flows.
I think it depends on the movie and what kind of contract is, at least at that time too.
True,
I don't know
'cause
if
these
it
are
was
like stupid
necessarily
movies like Van Wilder.
Yeah, and I think they were designed to be also played on TV eventually, right? So it's
yeah,
like,
right.
yeah.
So looking back at art, like, because this is technically art, it's very interesting to see where our heads were at every point in time. You can go back to like war movies and like, you know, like during like the Vietnam days, and then war movies became so big of like Rambo.
Oh yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a good example. Or like I don't know, like they're like, you can like pinpoint what was the popular movie at the time, and you could see what we were dealing with at that time.
It's like even like certain things that changed. So like after we had taken out Osama, then we can talk about destroying the White House again. It's like,
oh yeah, that's true.
That's also
like Olympus
Olympic has fallen.
Yeah.
Like there's so many of those. Like
weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
but then I got asked this one question about that before. It was like chicken and egg, right? Like, do we make movies to program the public, or does the public program the movie?
I think it's both. Like there's a mixed bag
okay.
here. Like it's just
True. Yeah, I guess it would be
what's
both.
happening
You're
in
right.
society causes.
I was gonna say it's like the people programming the media, because like they're the ones buying the tickets.
Yeah.
So they have to be like, well, what's gonna sell? But you're right. It's both, because like what they put in is like what's gonna subtly shape you.
Yeah, I think it's like it can be both, right? In the sense that what's happening at the time. So the movie's created for that, but there could be a message in the movie that could be different,
To
or
help
like to
push
change
you
to push it in a different.
Right. True. I heard this once, like during the whole like 9/11 stuff, like they made war movies extra cool, like like Green. What was the Green? The Green Mile, not a Green Mile. The one with Matt
Damon one?
Yeah.
I don't remember that one.
Green Zone.
Oh yeah.
Green Zone, and then there's like Body of Lies. They made it like
there were so many.
Yeah, during that like Osama time.
Yeah.
You know, but they made it really cool. But they did that because they were like, we need enrollment, because we need people to join the army so that they can help us actually fight these wars. You know. Yeah. So, yeah, it is both.
It's both.
Like, so the time is affecting us, and also like, yeah, you're right, the embedded message in there. Yeah, weird. That's so funny that when I said the whole incest thing, you're like, really? I was like, yeah, no, we did not know that. It's because you're like not thinking about it logically.
Right.
You probably forgot that moment that it was like, see, if you look at it like,
I probably
15-minute
did.
chunks,
I most likely I forgot this.
no, but I mean, if you look at it in 15-minute chunks, you probably don't remember what happened in the beginning of the movie, because they said that in the beginning of the movie. They never went back to it.
Oh, okay.
So it was like, oh, your stepbrother's moving in for a little bit. Okay.
Okay.
By the time those commercials came in and all those weird things happened, you probably forgot what the whole like the beginning was. But if you watch it straight through, you're like, you don't forget that part. Yeah, weird.
Interesting.
All right, cool. All right, so any final thoughts on that?
Yeah, no.
That Hillbilly one sounds cool. Where can you watch that?
That's a Netflix movie.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll check that out.
Yeah. It's harsh content in the sense, like it's not a happy movie, but
I
there
hate
is a
those.
mess. It's kind of happy at the end, but because it's a true story, you kind of see where they're at now in life because they're still alive.
Yeah, but it's hard, man. Like,
No, I know. Yeah, I'm just saying so that people know that, but going into it.
yeah.
But I don't know, like with this kind of bad reviews, will it be getting any kind of Oscar recognition or not?
You think it was that good, eh?
I think it can be. Yeah, some of these acting was there. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So check that out. Clueless on Netflix, and the Hillbilly movie.
Hillbilly Elegy
on Netflix. All right. Till next time, be sure to check out zenrealclothingco.com. Use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. And be sure to check out the Zen Real Radio playlist. And finally, if you are located in the Portland area of Scarborough, be sure to check out the Portland Bakery. A lot of great stuff. Say what's up to Arvel. Tell him Socratic Gamer sent you. Take it easy, Vish.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye.